Yes, good morning dear students. So today we will be starting with the last aspect of your syllabus, okay, that is the distribution part. So part of it we have covered it up in the unit 2, okay, wherein we dealt with a typical transmission and distribution system. So in that we happen to study the general layout of power system. Then we also happen to discuss on the advantages of AC and DC high voltage transmission, effect of high voltage transmission on line efficiency and the line drops. Okay, so you are aware with the various components of the distribution system. So now in this chapter I am going to deal with what are the two types of distribution that you will have to deal with. Okay, one is the DC distribution and another is AC. See, though majoritarily we adapt the AC system, okay, but see some applications, okay, like your electroplating, some electrochemical work, okay, so some thyratrons, so all these will require DC supply also. Okay, so at the supply end we are making use of the converters, and wherein your AC voltage is converted to DC and given to the consumer end. Okay, so before we switch on to the types and varieties, we have to understand the basic distribution system here. So please pay attention to the PPT. So here now you are going to cover what is the general AC and DC system, what is meant by radial and ring main system, then what are the various calculations for your concentrated loads and uniform loading, and we are going to see a few problems. Okay, so the general distribution scheme looks like what you can see here. Okay, so we have the service mains, then we are having the feeders, then we are also having the distributor line. So as we can see here in the center, okay, there is a service mains, this is the supply end. Okay, then it is connected via feeders. Okay, so can you see these feeders? Okay, then I have a distributor plane, and then we have a service mains. Okay, so now what is a feeder? So it is nothing but a conductor which connects the substation to the area where power is to be distributed. Okay, so it connects the substation. So S, what I have written in the center, it represents the substation. So it connects the excuse me, it connects the so feeder, it connects the substation to the area where power is distributed. So here we are not having any tappings. Okay, so as you can see at the same voltage level, so because we have to take care of the voltage drops here, so we are not supposed to have any voltage drops. So there will be no tappings at different voltage levels. So there will be single feeder line connections from the substation part. Then we are having a distributor. So distributor is conductor which from where tappings are taken for supplying to the consumers. Okay, so you can see here this AB. Okay, what you can see AB, then BC, CD, E, DA. These all are distributors. Okay, so the current through the distributor is not constant because tappings are taken at various places along its length. Yeah, so the current through the distributor is not constant because all the tappings are taken at different levels. Okay, so while designing the distributor, voltage drop along its length is the main consideration because there is a limit of voltage variation. So plus or minus 6% of rated value at the consumer terminals is being allowed. Then what you can see at the last end, okay, what you can see here after the distributor, we are having the service mains. Okay, that is what you can see in your house premises as well. So it is generally a small cable which connects the distributor to the consumer terminals. Okay, so it connects the distributor to the consumer terminals. Okay, so now we'll briefly classify it. Okay, so I have written here. So what is feeder? Then I have also given you about what is distributor, then what is service mains. So see now how do we classify the distribution system? So based on nature of current, okay, so whether you are going to have a direct current or whether you are going to have a alternating current. So I am having a DC okay. So we are having a DC distribution system and AC distribution system. Then based on the type of construction, okay, based on the type of construction, we are having overhead system, what you have been studying at unit 1, unit 2 and unit 3, they were all overhead system, and another one what we studied in the previous unit, it is the underground system. So you have studied about the underground cables also. Then based on the scheme of connection, either I have a radial system, or we have a ring main system, or we have a interconnected system. Clear? So we will just see what are the requirements of a good distribution system. So continuity in the supply must be ensured and the system should be reliable. So because of this we are having various types of schemes. So what happens in radial scheme is that consumer is given supply only from one end. Okay, so it radiates from the substation, okay, and the supply is given at only one end. So that end is heavily loaded. Okay, so usually we don't prefer this type of system. Okay, and if there is a fault on that particular feeding point, okay, the entire feeder has to be disconnected. Okay, whereas in the ring main, there are many various tappings which are being provided, and the consumer is fed from various different points. Okay, so if one point is under faulty section, you can just isolate that part and the supply can be resumed from the other points where the supply was given. Okay, so here continuity of the supply should be ensured. Then specified consumer voltage must not vary more than the prescribed limits. So you have seen now, you all installed the voltage regulators at home, that is stabilizers. Okay, so that is why you are doing that, because you need to have a constant supply of voltage. But okay, so the maximum permissible limit is plus or minus 5%. Then high line efficiency, so there should not be any losses. Then system should be safe, that is there should not be any leakage current, and the lines should not be overloaded. Okay, then layout should not affect the appearance of the site or locality, that it should not disturb it. Then it should be economical. Okay, so the first we will take up the DC part. So under DC distribution scheme, we are having 4 types: distributor fed at one end, okay, then distributor fed at both ends, distributor fed at the center, and there is a ring distributor. Okay, now you have to know that when I am feeding the distributor at one end, I can have 2 cases. Okay, either it will be a distributor fed at one end with concentrated loading, which is the majority of the case, and we have distributor fed at both the one end using uniform loading. Okay, but that case is very rare. Okay, so what is this concentrated load? Concentrated load are those which act on particular points of the distributed. That is, whatever current tappings you can see, they are all having different levels. Okay, they will not be at the same amperes. Okay, I cannot say I1, I2, I3 all are at the same ampere level. Okay, whereas in uniform loading, okay, it is not the case actually, but you have to deal with that case also. So in that, all the current tappings will be at the same current level. So common example of your distributed load or concentrated load, concentrated load is nothing but the domestic use what you have. So fan is having different load, your lighting load is different, your mixer load is different, washing machine load is different. So there are different loading points at the domestic side of the consumer. Then distributed loads are those which act uniformly on all the points of the distributed of the distributor. Okay, so actually ideally speaking there is no such load, okay, which is there in any of the different types of consumers that you come across. Okay, so one example which we can give, a large number of loads on same wattage connected to the distributor at equal distances. That is also important, because whatever voltage drop I have to consider now, it is nothing but IR drop. Since you are considering only DC now, we will be concentrating on the IR drop here. So what about AC then? When I start with the AC distribution, you will see that your R, X, XL and XC are coming into picture. Okay, so here whatever calculations we do in DC, they are all arithmetic operations. Okay, so the resistance multiplied by the length and into the voltage there, then into the current what is being tapped. So I into R, that gives me the voltage drop in that particular section. Whereas in AC, it will not be purely arithmetic, see, because the problem of power factor comes into picture. So now you have to do it not arithmetically, you have to do it vectorially. Okay, so you have to consider R, you have to consider XL, you have to consider XC, and you have also to consider cos phi. Cos phi is the power factor angle. Okay, so we'll see that later. So in every case now, distributor fed at one end will have two cases. One is concentrated loading, then second case is uniform loading. Then distributor fed at both the ends, this will also have again concentrated loading and uniform loading. But again now here the special cases, so when you are feeding at both the ends, you will have to check whether both V1 and V2 are equal. So that is at whether you are feeding both the ends at equal level of voltages, or whether you are feeding both the ends at unequal level of voltages. Okay, so concentrated loading with equal voltages, concentrated loading with unequal voltages, then uniform loading with equal voltages, and uniform loading with unequal voltages. Okay, so please don't get confused. So distributor fed at the center also will have same cases. And finally we are going to see what is a ring distributor and how to evaluate the various voltage drops when we have a ring distributor system. Okay, so we'll start with the so this is a general DC distribution system. So there is a generating station, then we have the substation here, then we have feeders, okay, then you have service main. So this is a general layout which we have dealt already. Okay, so you just go through that. This radial I will come back later. So we'll come to it later. Okay, so we'll take the first case when the distributor is fed at one end. Okay, so please see the line diagram which is being given. So you can see here at this point I am giving the supply. Okay, so it is fed at one end. So and now here what you can see here, from C, D and E we have taken the loads I1, I2 and I3. Okay, so you can just read here, it shows the single line diagram of a DC distributor AB fed at one end, also known as singly fed distributor. Then the loads I1, I2, I3 are tapped off at points C, D and E. Okay, so now what all observations we do here? So current in various sections of the distributor away from feeding point goes on decreasing. That means here now at point A, I will have the maximum current. Okay, so as I go farther from this, okay, we will observe that the currents are in a decreasing pattern. Okay, so current in the section AC is more than current in section CD, and CD is more than DE and so on. So one cross verification while you are getting the answers for your problems. Then voltage across the loads away from the feeding point goes on decreasing. So again here voltage drop is more, it goes on decreasing as you approach the other end. So in the figure the minimum voltage occurs at the load point E. Okay, so at this point I am having the minimum voltage. Then in case of a fault occurs on any section of the distributor, the entire distributor will have to be disconnected from the supply, so continuity of the supply is interrupted. So this is one of the flaws, one of the disadvantages of distributor fed at one end. Okay, so see the now we'll see, yes, first we'll see all the cases and then we'll come to calculations. Now, you have distributor fed at both ends. So what you can see here now, I have a distributor, this distributor which is fed at point A and it is also fed at point B. Okay, so you can see here shows the distributor AB fed at the ends A and B, and I1, I2, I3 are the tappings. Okay, so here the load voltage goes on decreasing as we move away from one feeding point A. It reaches one minimum value and then again starts increasing as we approach B. Okay, so the minimum voltage occurs at some load point and it can never be fixed. Okay, so it is shifted with variation of load on different sections of the distributor. So what are the advantages of such type of distributors where it is fed at both ends is, so if fault occurs on any one feeding point of the distributor, continuity of supply is maintained through the other one. Then in case of fault on any section of the distributor, continuity of supply is maintained from the other feeding point. Then the area of cross section required for a doubly fed distributor is much less than that of a singly fed distributor. Okay, then third case, so we will see how is the distributor fed at the center. So here usually we are not having problems, we will be taking only the first two cases. So now in this type, see, the center of the distributor is connected to the supply mains as shown. So here you can see I have a feeder. Okay, so it feeds this distributor, so it is fed at the center point C. So it is equivalent to two singly fed distributors. Okay, so that means what, the C is feeding A and the C is feeding B. So AC is one distributor which is fed from point C and CB is another distributor which is fed from point C again. Okay, so it is equal to half the length of the entire distributor. Then finally the last one, ring main. Okay, so whatever these earlier three cases you saw, these are grouped under your radial system. Okay, radial distribution system, and the last one is your ring main. So in this type, the distributor in the form of a closed ring. Okay, so here you can see there is one feeder and it starts from one end, okay, and it traces the path and it comes back to the same end, and various tappings are available on the ring. Okay, so hence the name ring main distributor. So it is equivalent to a straight distributor fed at both ends with equal voltages, the two ends being brought together to form a closed ring. So calculations are very simpler if you understand the distributor fed at both ends. The distributor ring may be fed at one or more than one point. So in this particular case I have shown just here one feeder connected at point A. There may be other feeders also. So you have to show incoming line for the feeder and the tappings are shown as the outward arrow. Okay, so now we will see the calculations associated. Okay, so I have given what is meant by concentrated load and uniform load. Okay, so we will take the first case. So DC distributor which is fed at one end, first case, concentrated loading. Okay, so concentrated loading we are taking. So that means what, the tappings are not at uniform ampere levels. Okay, so you can see here now it is being fed at point A. Okay, and we are having concentrated load at I1. Okay, then we are having I2, then we are having I3, and we are having I4. Then if say now R1, R2, then R3 and R4, they are the resistances of the entire loop. Okay, that is go and return DC. Okay, two wire line it is. So it is of the both section together, it is R1, that is in section AC. Then in CD we have R2, DE we are having R3, and EF we are having R4. Okay, so see now how do we do the calculation. So current fed from point A. Okay, so I told you here will be the maximum current, the entire, this is the supply. Okay, supply point it is. So what will be the total current here? It will be all the tappings current summation will be at point A. Okay, so I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4. Okay, then what about current in section AC? So here up till this point C is reached, there is no tapping. So it is the current which is being supplied by the feeder. So current in AC will be I1, I2, I3, I4. Then current in section CD. Okay, so in CD we are having what? You have to remove I1. Okay, so it is I2 plus I3 plus I4. Then current in section DE will be you remove I1 and I2. Okay, so it will be just I3 plus I4, and finally current in section EF will be R4. Okay, now what are the voltage drops? See, very simple calculations are there. So in AC you can see the resistance, we have indicated it as R1. So R1 into whatever current you have got at in AC, then R2 into whatever current you got in CD, R3 into DE, and R4 into EF, current in EF. Okay, so these will be the voltage drops in particular sections. So what will be the total voltage drop in the distributor? So you have to add all the drops. Okay, so I have added in AC, then in CD, okay, then in DE, and finally in EF. Okay, this all together will represent the total drop in the distributor. Okay. So it is easy to see that minimum potential will occur at point F, which is the farthest from the feeding point A, because see, quite obvious, current goes on decreasing, so your drops are also going on decreasing. Okay, so one example we have taken here. So a 2-wire distributor cable AB is 2 km long, so they have given the length of the feeder. It supplies a load of 100 amperes, 150 amperes, 200 amperes and 50 amperes. So they have given I1, I2, I3, I4, then situated at 500 meters, 1000 meters, 1600 meters and 2000 meters from the feeding point. So indirectly they have given you the distances. So first distance is 500 meters. So now section wise, if you have to calculate, you have to subtract that from the previous one. Okay, they are given the cumulative distances. Then calculate. So each conductor has a resistance of 0.01 ohms per 1000 meters. Okay, so resistance will be given in this fashion. Then calculate the potential difference at each load point if a potential difference of 300 volt is maintained at point A. Okay, so the starting point voltage they have given you, it is 300 volts. So I will just see the line diagram here, how they have represented. So you see here, okay, so here 300 volts is maintained. This is 500 meter distance. Okay, so this section they have given as 500 amperes. Here the current tapped is 100 amperes. Okay, so please try to understand. So what they have told is it is tapped at 100 amperes, 150 amperes, 200 amperes and 50 amperes. So we have shown 100, 150, 200 and 50. Then they have told the first one is situated at 500 meters. Second one at 1000 meters from A. So that means this 500, so another 500 I have to show here. So this represents 1000 meters. Then they have told it is 1600 meters. So here it is 1000. So you show here 600 more. And finally 2000 you have to add 400 more. Okay, so 500, 500, 600 and 400 will be the distances. Okay, so now see here what is being mentioned. So now resistance per 1000 meter of the distributor they have told. So we will multiply the resistances with respect to the meters what we have indicated there. So resistance of section AC, okay, they have told it is per 1000 meter it will be 0.02 ohms. Okay, so 0.02 into 500 divided by 1000. So this comes out to be 0.01 ohms. So likewise you calculate for CD, for DE, for EB. So now I am having the R values in each of the sections. Okay, so now we are also having the tappings, we are having the distance, we are having the resistance. So calculate the voltage drops. Okay. So on the same line, so see now we have calculated VC, VD, VE and VB. Okay, so they have not asked any cumulative, so just they have asked the section. So how have you calculated at C? Just pay attention here. So at C now, you can see at C, it is voltage at point A minus the drop in AC. Okay, so 300 is here minus what is the drop here? IAC into RAC. So IAC is 500 amperes and RAC you have calculated it at 0.01 ohm. So you will end up with 295. Okay, so on the same lines you calculate the voltage drops in various sections. The problems are very simple to understand. So you please go through the solved and unsolved problems what I have given here. Okay, they are on the similar lines. Okay, so we'll take up the next one. So I have given unsolved problems also along with answers. Please go through it and let me know. Okay, now you saw the distributor fed at one end with concentrated loading. Okay, now same thing, distributor fed at one end with uniform loading. Okay, so the title is uniformly loaded distributor at one end. So here it is slightly different but much easier. So see now, here you have the feeder. Okay, it is being fed at this particular point A, and see there are tappings here. Okay, all the values are having I amperes. Okay, this is the entire length L and this is the end point B now. Okay, so it means that at every 1 meter length, so I'll just read out. It shows a single line diagram of a 2-wire DC distributor AB fed at one end A and loaded uniformly with I amperes per meter length. So every 1 meter length I amperes is there. So it means that every 1 meter length of the distributor, the load tapped is I amperes. So L meters if it is length of the distributor and R be the R ohms be the resistance per meter run. Okay, so if L meters is the length, then how to do the calculations is, we'll consider one arbitrary point C, okay, and let it be at a distance x, okay, at a distance x from the feeding point A as shown, okay. So then the current at point C, so what will be the current at point C? It will be I into L, okay, minus I into X. Okay, so the entire lengthwise I into L minus I into X should be the current available to me at point C. Okay, so that is I into L minus X amperes is the current which is available at point C. Okay, so now what we do is we will consider a small length dx. Okay, small length dx near point C. So its resistance will be what? R into dx. Okay, length is x, so RL. So R into dx. So voltage drop over the length dx. Okay, so how we have written? So see here. So dx dV, we call it as dV. So voltage drop dV is equal to. So current you have written already I into L minus X into, okay, R dx. Clear? So we are calculating voltage drop. It is I into R. So current you know, resistance is R dx. So dV will be I into R L minus X dx. So what is the total voltage drop in the distributor up to that point C? Okay, total voltage drop from feeder up to the point C will be V is equal to, you have to integrate this expression over the limits starting from 0 till x, distance x what you have considered. Okay, so we have integrated it 0 to x, I into R L minus X dx. So you integrate it between the limits 0 and x, you will end up with IR into Lx minus x square by 2. Okay, so voltage drop up to point B, that is over the entire distributor, can be obtained by putting x is equal to L. So now x can be anything, any distance you take. Clear? Either we can calculate for the entire distance or whatever value they specify in the problems, you can calculate the value of x. So voltage drop over the distributor AB will be now. So I substitute x is equal to L. Okay, so you will end up with half IR. Okay, understanding? So voltage drop will be half IR. So where IL is equal to L, the total current entering at point A, RL is equal to, IL is equal to I. Small I into the entire length is capital I, and small r into entire length represents the capital R, which is the total resistance of the distributor. So a uniformly loaded distributor fed at one end, the total voltage drop is equal to that produced by the entire load assumed to be concentrated at the middle point. So you get as half into I into R. Okay, the calculations associated are very simple. Okay, so we'll take up see one problem now here. So what they have told, a 2-wire DC distributor 200 meters long is uniformly loaded with 2 amperes per meter. The resistance of single wire is 0.3 ohms per kilometer. If the distributor is fed at one end, calculate first one voltage drop up to a distance of 150 meter from the feeding point, and then what is the maximum voltage drop. Okay, so what they have told, the entire length is 200 meters, then the current is 2 amperes per meter, then resistance of the single wire is 0.3 ohms per kilometer. See now, single wire, they have mentioned it. Okay, then if it is fed at one end, and they have also mentioned uniformly loaded. So we will see the calculations. So they have told current small I is per meter. Okay, so 2 amperes per meter. Then what is the resistance per meter run? Okay, so it is R is they have told 1 second 0.3 ohms per kilometer. Okay, and it is 200 meters run. So it is 2 into 0.3 divided by 1000, you will get 0.0006 ohms. Okay, then what is the total length? L is 200 meters. So first is now voltage drop up to a distance x meter from feeding point. Okay, so you know the expression, it is IR into Lx minus x square by 2. You substitute, okay, very simple, x is equal to 150 meter. You will get the answer as 22.5. Then now they want what is the maximum voltage drop. Okay, so it is half into I into R. I need to know what is I need to know what is capital R. So capital I is I into L, 2 into 200, okay, you will get 400 amperes. Okay, and then total resistance of the distributor is R into L, so it is 0.00006 ohms into 200 meter length, you will get 0.12 ohms. Okay, so what is the total drop? Half into I into R, you will get 24 volts. Okay, so just go through the other problems here. Okay, on similar lines we have solved it. Then I have also included few problems with answers, unsolved problems. Okay, now we come to the second case. It is distributor fed at both ends with concentrated loading. Okay, so distributor fed at both ends with concentrated loading. So here see now, I told you there are two cases, equal distributor fed at both ends. So I need to know what if V1 and V2 both are equal, and what if V1 and V2 are unequal. Okay. Okay, so we'll take the first case. So distributor fed at both ends with equal voltages. Okay, so see now, I am feeding this distributor at A and I am also feeding at B. Both are having the voltage drops V. Clear? Both are having the voltage drops V. So you consider a distributor AB, it is fed at both ends with equal voltages V volts, and having concentrated loads I1, I2, I3, I4 and I5 at points C, D, E, F and G respectively. Okay. So as we move away from the feeding point, say A, so from this point when I am moving, potential drop goes on decreasing until it reaches one minimum value at some point. Say here you got the minimum point, and then from this point again it goes on increasing until you go to B. Okay, this is very similar to distributor fed at the center. Okay. Okay, then all currents tapped off between points A and B will be supplied from the feeding point A, while those tapped off between B and E will be supplied from the feeding point B. the current tapped off at E will be partly supplied from A and partly supplied from B. Okay, so if you assume that current to be I3, okay, so say now X is coming from A and Y is coming from B, okay, the total current will be X plus Y. Okay, so we arrive at a very important conclusion. Okay, at the minimum potential, so this you have arrived at minimum potential. Current comes from both ends of the distributor for that particular tapping. Okay, so how to calculate this point of minimum potential? Okay, we have given here. So we'll consider one small section here. So see now, we have considered a distributor AB fed at point A and fed at point B. Okay, and the concentrated loads are I1, I2 and I3. Okay, so they are fed at C, D and E. Okay, suppose now the current fed by the feeder A is IA. Okay, then current distribution in various sections, we have written it like this. So ICA will be IA, IDE will be IA minus I1 minus I2. Okay, so can you see here minus I1 minus I2, clear? Then what is ICD will be I1 minus IA, IEB will be okay I1 minus IA minus I1 minus I2 minus I3. So you have got the current distribution in all the sections. So what will be the voltage drop between A and B? So voltage drop between A and B will be nothing but voltage drop over AB. Okay. So V minus V, so V minus V will be IA into RAC plus, okay, what is the difference here? It will be IA minus I1, okay, what we have written here, IA minus I1 into RCD plus IA minus I1 minus I2 into RDE plus IA minus I1 minus I2 minus I3 into REB. Okay, so from this equation now IA can be easily calculated because other quantities will be mentioned in your problem. So actual distance of currents in the various section, if they are indicated as shown in 2, okay, as shown in figure 2. So if they have indicated the directions, then the load point where currents are coming from both the ends of the distributor is the point of minimum potential. So here you can observe now only at point E, okay, I can see the currents coming from both the ends. So I can easily determine that minimum point of minimum potential. Okay. Now, okay, second case. So a distributor fed at both the ends with unequal voltages. Okay, so in this case now you can see, just a minute. Yes, see now this is the feeder. It is fed at point A, it is fed at point B. Okay, but here now the voltage drop is V1 which is not equal to V2. V2 is the voltage which is shown at point B. Okay, they are not equal. Okay, so you can see the figure shows distributor AB fed with unequal voltages. End A is at V1, end B is at V2. So point of minimum potential can be found by the same procedure which we have discussed now. So now here voltage drop between A and B will be voltage drop over AB. So now there we wrote V minus V is equal to 0. So easily you can find out A. So now it will be here V1 minus V2 is equal to voltage drop over AB. Okay. So rest all procedure remains the same. Yes, on similar lines we have given a problem here. Okay. Okay, so a 2-wire DC straight mains AB 600 meter long is fed from both ends at 220 volts. Okay, so this is again equal distribution. No, this problem I guess you all can do it by yourselves. Okay, so this is just nothing but multiplying the drops and okay, so all the important things are given here. So I'll take up one problem. Yes, here it is. Okay, so see in this particular case now, here it is 230 volts, here it is 235 volts. Clear? And they have asked you to calculate. So see here what is being done. I will just brief out what is being done here. So you have first calculated the resistance of all the sections. Then voltage at B, okay, so voltage at B will be voltage at A minus this entire drop. Okay, so this calculation is nothing but that voltage drop problems what we have seen, distribution of load fed at one end with concentrated loading. Okay, same calculations. So I will be putting up it here. So see here now, VB is equal to VA minus this entire drop. Okay, so easily you will get the value of IA. Clear? So please solve it and let me know if you have any discrepancy, and then easily you can calculate the current in various sections, and the same thing can be indicated here. So plus and minus will be there. So here see, just by looking at the figure I can conclude which one is the minimum point. So you can see only at point D the current is coming from B as well as A. So this is the point of a minimum potential difference. So various problems are given, please go through them. Okay, so some problems, unsolved problems are given. Okay, now see, this is third case now, uniformly loaded distributor fed at both ends. Okay, so this is again with equal voltages and it is with unequal voltages. So in the earlier case it is concentrated loading, now it is uniform loading. So now here again same procedure, so but here it is fed at both ends. So you have seen the analysis for what happens when I feed at one end with uniform loading. So here now consider point C, same analysis at a distance x meter from point A. So current at point C will be I into L by 2 minus I into x. Clear? So half of the points I have taken C. So just read the statement here on top so that it is clear to you. So consider a distributor AB of length L meters having a resistance R ohms per meter run. Okay, so you have to calculate R is equal to rho L by A in this case. Okay, and with uniform loading of I amperes per meter run as shown in figure, let the distributor be fed at the feeding points A and B at equal voltages. The total current supplied to the distributor is I into L, that we have written already. As the two ends of the voltages are equal, therefore current supplied from each feeding point will be I into L by 2. Okay, because both the drops are equal and even tappings are same. So current supplied from each feeding point is IL by 2. So A supplies IL by 2, B supplying IL by 2. So what is the current if you consider any point C at a distance x? So from the feeding point A it is. So what is the total current supplied by A? I into L by 2. And what is the distance x you have to consider? So what is the drop there now? It is I into x. Okay, so the total current there is the current multiplied by distance per meter run. So this will end up in I into L by 2 minus x. So now consider a small length dx near point C. So its resistance is R dx and the voltage drop over the length dx is now you have to write it as dV. So dV will be voltage drop V is equal to I into R. So I into L by 2 minus x into R dx. Okay, so because the resistance of that section is R and the length considered is x. So you will end up with IR into L by 2 minus dx. So voltage up to the point C, as same analysis you have to do, integrate it between the limits 0 to x, that expression. Okay, you will end up with IR by 2 into bracket Lx minus x square. So minimum potential will be at the midpoint. So maximum voltage drop will occur at the midpoint where X is equal to L by 2. Okay, so if I calculate if I substitute X is equal to L by 2, I will get the maximum drop. So maximum drop you will end up as 1/8 of IR. So capital I is what? Small I into the entire length. Capital R is small r into the entire length. Okay, so there you got half IR. So now here you got 1/8 IR. Okay, now distributor fed at both ends with unequal voltages. Okay, so same case here now. Okay, but what is the difference is now? So consider a distributor AB of length L meters, again same having resistance R ohms per meter run. Okay, so if the distributor is fed from feeding points A and B, okay, the voltage drops what we have indicated are VA and VB respectively. Okay, so suppose the point of minimum potential C is situated at a distance X from feeding point A. So current supplied by the feeding point A will be I into X. Okay, same analysis. So what is the voltage drop in section AC? IR into X square by 2. Okay, IR into X square by 2. So I have utilized the previous derivation there. So as the distance C from the feeding point is L minus X, so the current fed from B is L minus X. So in place of X you substitute L minus X. So you will get IR into L minus X whole square by 2. Then what is the voltage at point C now? VC is equal to VA. So here, sorry. So see here, VC will be, the voltage drop here will be VA minus the drop over this entire section AC. Okay, so this will be VA minus, so drop over AC you have calculated already. It is IR into X square by 2. So voltage at point C that is also equal to, so with respect to your feeder B if I consider, it will be VB minus this drop over BC. Okay, so that also we have written IR into L minus X whole square by 2. Now these both are equal. Clear? So these both are equal. So when I equate them, I will get, if I solve, I will get the value of X as VA minus VB divided by IRL plus L by 2. Okay, so you will have to remember these expressions. So again we have given one simple problem here. So you please substitute, it is very simple, okay, nothing to solve here. So you please substitute and cross verify the answers. Okay, so if it is not matching, please get back to me. Okay, so we have given the all types are covered here. So now what is remaining is, now you have to understand what is a ring distributor. Yes, one more thing left out was distributor with both concentrated and uniform. Okay, so there is here what happens is, so see the type of problem, we will illustrate with the problem. So they have told a 2-wire DC distributor AB which is 900 meters long is fed at A at 400 volts, and the loads of 50 amperes, 100 amperes, 150 amperes are tapped off from C, D and E, okay, which are at a distance of 200 meter, 500 meter and 800 meter from point A respectively. The distributor is also loaded. So see now, in the first case they have told that there is concentrated loading and they have given you the tappings of I1, I2 and I3. Then the second statement is, they are saying distributor is also loaded uniformly at the rate of 0.5 amperes per meter. Okay, so it is rated at 0.5 amperes per meter. So if the resistance of the distributor per meter go and return is 0.0001 ohms, calculate the voltage at point B and at point D. Okay, so both cases are included. We will just see the solution. So see here. So first you can the drop at any point we will find. You have done in the first case. So IAC they have given us 300 amperes. Then ICD is 250 amperes. So what I am doing here now is, So see this, they have told loads of 50, 100, 150 are tapped off from C, D and E. So what is the total current at A? It is summation of all these three. Okay, so it is 300 amperes. Okay, and here at CD is 150 plus this 100, so it is 250. Then at IDE will be 100 plus 50, that is 150 amperes. Okay. So you find out the drops in various sections. So drop in CD, drop in DE and drop in AB. Then drops due to uniform loading. So this was with respect to concentrated loading, what all drops you can calculate it. Now due to uniform loading, so here it is distributed fed at one end. Clear? So I use IR into L square by 2. Drop over AB is IR into L square by 2. You will get 20.25. Drop over AD. Okay. So it will be IR into Lx minus x square by 2. Okay, IR into Lx minus x square by 2. So it is just the previous derivation what we saw. Okay, so you substitute the length as 900 meters. Okay, so substitute L length as 900 meters and x is at a distance. So AD here the distance is 200 plus 300, 500 meters. So what will be the drop over AD? Okay, it will be 16.25. Okay, then what is the voltage at point B? VA minus drop over AB due to concentrated and uniform loadings both. Okay, so VA is 400. So drops you have calculated 18 plus this one. Okay, AB 20.25. You will get 361.75. Then what is that D? VA minus drop over AD due to both concentrated and uniform loadings. So add it up, you will get 370.25. Okay, so you please go through the problems. Okay, so the calculations are very simple. Okay, so next we will see what is a ring distributor. Okay, so this forms a closed loop and it is fed at one or more points. Okay, it makes a loop through the area to be served and returns to the original point. Okay, so there are no actually much calculations involved here. So principal advantage is that by doing proper choice in the number of feeding points, you can achieve the greater economy in copper. Saving of copper is done. Okay, so here we'll again take up similar problem. Okay. Okay, so just see here now, I'll quickly cover it. Okay, so 2-wire DC ring distributor is 300 meter long. So that ring length they have given as 300 meter long. It is fed at 240 volts from point A. So one point they have told that from that point it is at 240 volts. So at point B, at a distance of 150 meters from A, a load of 120 amperes is taken, and at C, 100 meters in the opposite direction, a load of 80 amperes is taken. If the resistance per 100 meter of single conductor is 0.03 ohms, find current in each section of the distributor and also voltages at points B and C. Okay, so just look at the diagram. So here they are saying this is the feeder. So 240 volts it is being fed at a distance of 150 meters from A. I am having a tapping of 120 amperes and okay, and what else? Just a minute, I will go through the question here itself. and what they have told, and at C 100 meters in the opposite direction. Okay, so this is one direction. At C 100 meters in the opposite direction, a current of 80 amperes is taken out. Okay, so this is what is the given data. So I have written here it is 150 meters, here will be 100 meters. So what is the total distance of the length of the ring? They have told it is 300 meters. So it is 150 plus 100. So remaining part, this BC will be now 50 meters. Okay, so here this one I will call, this is the IA which is being supplied. Okay, at this 120 minus 200. Clear? So because here now this 120 goes off and here 80 goes off. So it will be IA minus 120 plus 80 is 200. So we have written in this section the current will be IA minus 200. Okay. So once you analyze the diagram, it is very simple. Okay. So resistance per 100 meter of the distributor is two conductors, right? So 2 into 0.03, it is 0.06 ohms. Then you calculate the resistance of A to B, 150 meters. So 0.06 into 150 by 100. Okay, so it will be 0.09 ohm. Then resistance of section BC 50 meters. So find out that value. Okay, then resistance of section CA. Then suppose the current IA is flowing, then current in sections BC and CA will be IA minus 120. So that is what I explained to you. So you apply Kirchhoff's law, the current in the loop should be 0. Okay, that is or the voltage drops should be 0. Okay, so you multiply that drops, make it 0, you will get the value of IA. Okay, so using that, substitute the IA and write the values here. This will show the actual distribution of the ring main system. Fine. So then what is the voltage drop at B? So VA minus IAB into RB. Okay. So this drop you have to calculate, which comes out to be 232.2. Then voltage at point C will be VB. So here at C, okay, at C VB plus IBC into RBC. Clear? Or VA minus this, okay, but I don't know this now. Clear? So it will be this VB plus IBC into RBC. So find out the value, okay, you will get the answer here. Okay, so fine. So in tomorrow's class, I will cover up with the ring main distributor with interconnector. Okay, and then I will show you what is meant by AC distribution. Okay, so here interconnect also few problems are being included. Okay, and then I will show you what is meant by AC distribution. Fine. Okay. Thank you.